Hello from the people of the internet. I am Hyper Superstore and welcome back to Remembering Avatar, where I talk about the Avatar The Last Airbender episodes completely from my memory, and then I watch the episode and see what I got wrong. Today, we're tackling the Firebending Masters. Now that Zuko has joined the group, it's time for everyone to have their own solo episode with them, except if you're Sokka and you get two for some stupid fucking reason. Anyway, Firebending Master is where Zuko and Aang get their emotional journey together. Zuko and Aang start their firebending training. I say Zuko and Aang like they're doing it together. Well, in this episode they are. Zuko can't firebend to save his life. His firebending was fueled by rage. And he doesn't really have much anger in him now. There's no deep-seated hatred of either himself or someone else anymore. There was no inner Hulk to unleash. So, his firebending is pathetic. To be fair, Aang's is worse, but burning Katara can kind of do that to a guy. He kind of doesn't want to do it. So he brings it up to the group, and Katara's like, haha, fuck you. Yeah, she's still kind of a bitch to Zuko. To be fair, it's still warranted. But goddamn. I lost my stuff. Hey, I didn't take your stuff, Toph says. We all know it was the Duke who took his stuff. We all know it. Anyway, yeah. Katara being a bitch. Toph didn't steal his stuff. Lost firebending since I'm not angry anymore. I'm not. Katara, if I was truly still angry, still that same guy, I'd be able to launch a fireball at your face right now for being a bitch. But I can't, no matter how much I want to. Well, if his firebending's poured out by rage, maybe we just anger him. Sokka goes to annoyingly poke him with a sword. I don't think it's working. So they point out, well, why not learn from the original firebenders? Like how the Water Tribe had the moon of all things. Earthbenders had badger moles, and Airbenders had sky bisons. Zuko points out, that's going to be a little bit hard for him since all the dragons, yes, dragons, are kind of dead. Supposedly, Uncle Iroh killed the last one. But there is an alternative. The Sun Warriors, an ancient race of firebenders, who still have some civilizations, some ruins still up. And nifty enough, it's close enough to the Western Air Temple, because everything in these next couple of episodes are close enough to the Western Air Temple. Very convenient place this is. So, I still like the place, so. Zuko and Aang go there to try to learn stuff about firebending. And I'll get to that point later. They do a little dance called the Dance of the Dragon, where they unearth this thing, do the Dance of the Dragon, on these pedestals that show them how to do it, and that unlocks like a hidden, what I'm going to call an egg. I think that is a dragon egg. Not only do I think it's a dragon egg, I think it's the dragon we see in Legend of Korra that Zuko's riding. But that besides the point, it also unleashes a trap of sticky junk. You can use that however you see fit, internet. Anyway, this tar-like substance is sticky and it sticks to them. Now, supposedly they were supposed to drown in that shit because that's kind of a horrible way to die, to be honest. But they get to a top grade with their mouths still exposed so they can still breathe. Nightfall comes, and who do they come across but Sun Warriors? Zuko and Aang are fucking shocked. Like, wait, we thought you guys were dead. Nah, we just hate the rest of you. Fair enough. What was I going to say after that? So yeah, the Sun Warriors give them like this test or something Take this fire up to that pedestal and the masters will teach you the secret of firebending. If it's too strong, it'll go out. If it's too weak, it'll go out. So, they do get it up there. And they have genuine doubts of, what if they're not willing to teach us? What if they attack us? Zuko, understandably, going, you're the Avatar, and I got 2 swords that I know how to use. I'm sure we'll be at least fine if we can make our escape. 2 giant fucking dragons later. You still think we can take them? No. You? And their fires go out. Because of a little bit of shenanigans where Aang does a stupid and lets his go out. Then tries to take Zuko's hose, and they proceed to have a brotherly thing with them. And his goes out and they both look at each other. They're just like, oh, we are fucked. Aang or Zuko, I think it's Aang, sees the motions that the dragons are doing and goes, you know what, fuck it, let's do that dance we did earlier, see what happens. Zuko's pretty much just like, I can't think of anything better to do, so why not? They do the dancing dragon, and when they're done, they're facing the 2 dragons. Aang facing off the blue one, which is normally Azula. No, he's facing off against the red one, which is normally Iroh or Zuko in this case. And Zuko's facing off the blue one. Basically their own inner demons. Kind of. But yeah. Yeah, the little angel and devil on Zuko's shoulders back in his flashback. Zuko's facing the devil and Aang's facing the angel. Launches fire at them. They're engulfed in flames. No, they're not set on fire, they're in this fire cyclone, where they see all the different colors in the spectrum of fire. They're warm, but not hot. All this beautiful colors of fire. Which I'd like to point out, you guys have met Azula. You've seen the blue. The green, however, that's strange. You've seen the blue, and you've seen magician tricks, and you've seen what they can do with fire. This, I'm assuming there's going to be like a solar eclipse scenario where it's just like, you gotta see it for yourself. It's like nothing else. Also, when Aang gets the fire went earlier on in the episode, he describes it like a little heartbeat. But the Masters deemed them worthy. Also, the Sun Warriors thought the dragons were going to eat them. Uh-oh. That would have been bad. But they didn't. They passed the test, and they learned the secret of firebending. That is not destruction. It's energy. And doing this, they can firebend freely. Learning this revelation that it's not just pure wanton destruction, that it can be used for good. It can and will be used for that. And something I'd like to point out with Zuko's firebending specifically. Like after this episode, like before this, his firebending, he would breathe out when he would launch a fire attack or something like that. Past this episode, he doesn't do that anymore. Taking from Uncle Iroh's first firebending lesson of the show, firebending comes from the breath, not from the muscle. And Zuko, from this point on, starts saving up his breaths. When he firebends, at least. So, the Sun Warriors tell them, hey, it's great and all, you learned the secret of fire, or good on you guys, good on you guys. Very happy with you. Could you not tell anyone that we exist? No problem. Jump cut. And that is when we met the dragons and learned how to do this sick new dance move. Oh, so what's this little dance that we're going to feed the Fire Lord with? It's an ancient firebending technique passed through generations. And what's it called? The Dancing Dragon. Ha 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 ha. Episode end. I can't remember if I'm missing anything or not. For some reason I want to say something about Iroh, but that's wrong. Fuck it, let's just watch the episode and uncover the truth. Okay, so just got done watching the episode and I pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's a fun episode, it really is. It's nice to see Aang and Zuko have another outing together. Things I forgot was Toph and her origin. Toph telling them that you need to find the original source of fire. Her. So is that like jumping onto a volcano, Sokka says? No. For earthbending, it was the badger moles. I know I already pointed that out, but we get to see Toph's backstory and her badger mole adopted family, as I'm going to call them. And see how she learned her earthbending by mimicking what the badger moles do. And thus, Aang puts together, wait, she got it by mimicking them. That thing was called the Dance of the Dragons. Let's try that and see what happens. Since we already fucked up the fire and got scared. Oh, poor baby. They get judged. Zuko was dancing with the red dragon, Aang was dancing with the blue, and they got judged by the opposite one. Deemed worthy, breathed fire upon this fire tornado that showed all these different beautiful colors, everything except the normal one. And I don't think they showed blue. And yeah, it was pretty. I have to admit defeat there. It was gorgeous. But yeah, this episode's rather nice. They call it the gem that Zuko picked up and had the tar on him. They called it the Sunstone, and I'm looking at that thing and I go, no, that is an egg. That is an egg from those two dragons. Still think we could take them when they figured out it was dragons? Shush! I never said that. But, yeah, this episode's good. I mean, since I hit the nail on the head, what else do you want me to say? Sokka calling firebending jerks jerkbending. Katara's still a bitch. What was it? Zuko and Aang at their beginning, where they figure out that they can't firebend for shit. Huh. My chair is making a lot of noise. It's not working. Zuko's saying at the end here that he lost his drive. He lost his inner fire because for so long, chasing down Aang was his drive, like 3 or 4 years. So I have to imagine, what was his drive before that? Like make his dad love him? Probably. So when he ditched dad and teamed up with Aang, he lost his inner fire. And at the end of the episode, he gains a new one to help bring balance to the world. Thus, fire! Fire! Aang realizing that fire isn't just destruction, it's energy, it's life, warmth. Like the sun, but inside of you. You know what this means? Well, we are called the Sun Warriors, so yeah. Also, something I like to point out in this episode. Aang says, when he was a kid. So, presumably, even though he's only 12, maybe 13 if you're stretching your imagination, 112, 113, he doesn't view himself as a kid anymore. Go back to the beginning of the episode, it's just like when I was a kid. You still are a kid. And him pointing out that stuff, it's kind of interesting how much he's grown and developed. And actually, his voice has gotten deeper too, if you actually do notice that. Some like to point out the scene where he tells the troops that he's thankful for their bravery. You know, like when he's about to fucking cry. But just take him saying the same words. That'll do much better in my opinion. Let's see here. What else can I say? Oh yeah, the door that they have to trick. Zuko uses his swords to make the Sunstone think, oh, it's the solstice, time to open. I hate that little fucking frame where Aang goes, you know what, I don't really care what people say about you, Zuko, you're pretty smart. And it takes a second to like pretty much go, to wink at the camera, just like, yeah, I'm the guy, I'm cool. That was a waste of a second. Iroh. Iroh was the person who supposedly killed the last dragon. He learned the original secrets of firebending and said that he killed the last dragon, giving himself the title of dragon. Because if you kill the dragon, you get the title of dragon, and your firebending skills are legendary. Said he killed the last dragon, so no one would hunt them down anymore. Pretty commendable of him. Iroh. Guess he had a complicated past. Call it family tradition. Let's see. Oh, the dragons' name are Ri and Cha. I don't know if that means anything or not. Also, one little symbolic thing I'd like to think about is when Aang straight up asked Zuko what happened to the dragons. And I kind of find it weird that this hasn't been brought up until this point for Aang. Like, Fire Nation had dragons. Where the hell are they? But then again, we haven't come across another Sky Bison, and apparently the Fire Nation just fucking has them. I hate that. Just say Guru Patik had some. That would be much better. Well, fucking heard anything other than the Fire Nation had them, since they would have weaponized them. Here's Kingdom probably would have done that too. That's besides the point. Yeah, Aang asked Zuko point blank what happened to the dragons when I was gone. And Zuko walks slightly out of frame, where his scar is covered up by off-screen. I think that's a symbol of his shame. That he feels ashamed that his family is the reason that the dragons are gone. Started with his great-grandfather, Sozin. Sozin had a dragon. Not only did he have a dragon... Now, if this was something Azulon... Azulon... I say Azulon for the grandpa, but I say Azula for the sister. But if Azulon did that, I'd find that completely easy. But Sozin had a dragon himself. Do you mean to tell me he killed his pet dragon? Now, I imagine that's like a fucking shooting a dog thing. Like the dragon wouldn't fucking attack him. Oh, God. Sozin, you fucking bastard. Or did his dragon die and he goes, if I can't have my dragon, nobody can. Well, as we see by the new live-action series, I will talk about it someday, just not today. That he was kind of batshit crazy. Yeah, we kind of see some of that here. But slightly less fucking... So yeah, I think that's a symbol of Zuko's shame. His scar getting covered up, it's just like, I don't want to associate with that stuff anymore. Oh yeah, first fire. The first fire. They said they have the first fire that was gifted to humanity by the dragons. Now, for one, you could consider that asshole, but on the other hand, holy shit, they kept that thing going for thousands of years. That's dedication. And again, have to climb up the mountain, show the fire, they screw up, rest of dance happens, and the fire. And the dragons judge them, fire tornado, beauty, figuring out what they have to do. Zuko is such a fucking angsty teenager in this. Now, he does believe in Aang. Aang completely. He does believe that Aang can do the task they've been given. That he can control the overwhelming fire, all that stuff. He thinks he can take on the Masters before it's revealed they're two giant fucking dragons. Zuko has complete faith in Aang in this. I love Zuko in this episode. Because he's such a big brother to Aang. Now, to be fair, he does have some experience with Azula, so he knows what not to say, at least. Now, he's tough on the kid. He is. But that's because he knows he can do great things. Yeah, but he has complete faith in him. Now, the thing where he doesn't show his big brotherness is when he refused to share some of the original fire with Aang, even though he probably just could have went, here you go, friend. But hey, with not whatnot, if they kept the fire, they probably would have been crispy. Oh well. What else can I really say about this episode? It's a good one. It really is. Would I call a masterpiece, mind you? No, because one, I hated when Katara's a bitch. Two, Sokka's kind of an idiot too. Toph is good. And the rest of the cast don't really do anything. It is a Aang and Zuko solo stuff. We get a bunch of stuff, but we don't get it fleshed out. The original fire and the dragons, that was handled pretty well in my opinion. But the original fire, that sounds like something that would be relevant in some regard. And the fact that in Korra, we never see the Sun Warriors. This is their only appearance. They never show up again, as far as I can remember. But they don't show up again at all. And I guess Aang and Zuko just told the gang, and that was it, and they kept their mouths shut. But given how technologically advanced the Korra series is, something tells me somebody would have found them. And probably died, now that I think about it. Oops. Let's see. Oh. When they're doing, like, the ceremony of handing the fire to the masters, like near the end of the episode where they do the dance, and the music starts playing, I just went, that's the end credits theme, isn't it? That just sounds like a different version of the end credits theme. So yeah, that was an interesting touch. Yeah, but I think I've rambled on long enough about the Firebending Masters. What'd you guys think about the episode? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, leave a like on the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more dragons! And don't forget to hit that little notification bell to see when I upload all the time. Till next time, I'm Super Sora. Sayonara.